I do everything everybody else does. I vacuum, I empty rubbish, I pick up bodies, I do embalming, I work funerals, I also do our own taxes and accounting and so forth. I do a little of everything. It's not a specific job that I do here, but that applies to everybody here. When you read about people, see the great white light, and they go there, and then they're brought back, and the big white light goes. Who knows? No one's ever been gone long enough to come back to tell us. Is there anything beyond? Depends what you believe in. Is there a spirit world? Could be. Is there a heaven? I don't know. Very well could be. Is there a hell? I think hell is here. Well, as soon as I got out of school and so forth, I was a musician, went to school there. I also went to the embalming school and so forth. And from there, I did my time and built this business up. Bought it, paid it off, and here I am. I was misled. I thought there was a lot of money in this business. There isn't. Well, they changed it from the fact to get away the appearance that we're all millionaires because we drive around in Cadillacs and Lincolns. That's the image created by us for the public. When you consider the hours we work, the time we put in, the availability, we're available 24 hours a day, and if we do work on a Saturday night, we don't get double time or overtime like the electricians or the plumbers or the carpenters get, do we? Why shouldn't we? If we did it, it would be much more expensive than they are now. And they're not really expensive in the sense of the term. The casket determines a lot of times the price of the funeral, and also the cost of the cemetery, the cost of the grave box. If you don't buy a grave box, you buy a vault. People spend more on a funeral like they spend money on anything else. Although some people with money who may spend a lot of money on Mercedes-Benz will have somebody cremated in a cardboard box. It's a different set of values. You can't let personalities affect you. You'd be upset over everything every day, the things you see here. This is a small urn of baby's ashes. Back a few years ago, a girl lost a baby, and I put the ashes in a nice little urn for her. Well, about 2 years later, somebody came to my door with these and said, look, we found these in the kitchen cabinet with the new tenants. So the mother left without even bringing them with her. 2 years later, the mother called and said, I can't find my baby's ashes. I said, no, you left them in the apartment when you moved. She said, I'll be back to get them. That was 4 years ago. She still hasn't come back. So much value for the baby's ashes, right? So it just seems like there's a lack of respect for these people who lived at one time. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, uncles, nephews, nieces, whatever. At one time they were somebody. One time they were born, they brought some happiness to somebody. They went to school, they brought some happiness. Somewhere in between, something happened where everything went astray. You have to say to yourself, what happened in between? This is the end result. All we are here is a storage shed. But the problem here is this, they don't think there's anything left for them to do anything with. They feel once the cremation is done, there's nothing left. As you can see by the amount in this closet, a lot of people apparently believe that. You say, why should we bury the ashes? Well, okay, let's put it another way. If we don't bury them, why should we have to hold them in a cellar? Why can't we just throw them away if they don't mean anything? So if that's the case, what we could do is they have these new techniques now where you can liquefy a body. What the hell? Why have burials? Why have church masses? Why have anything? Let's just liquefy everybody in one of these tanks and that's the end of it. The body means nothing. The ashes, well, apparently if you look at it that way, nothing means anything. So what the hell? If somebody dies, so what? Why do we put monuments up in cemeteries? Why do we have flat markers and other stuff? Well, I can tell you why the flat markers in the cemetery, because it's easier to cut the grass. Funerals aren't for the dead, they're for the people left behind. It gives them some closure, as they say, or finality. And when people buy fancy caskets, they're putting on a show for their relatives, especially New Englanders. They do it all the time. It's Showtime USA with some people in certain ethnic groups. They buy certain expensive caskets and so forth. They buy these big, huge stones and gravestones and so forth because they think it means something. But it's Showtime. Respect isn't measured in terms of dollars and cents. At least not with me, it isn't. You shouldn't consider that everybody who has a death in the family loses their total judgment or a sense of how can I put, cost factors because somebody has died. They don't lose their entire sense of judgment because someone has passed away. Not true. The tears dry quickly. A lot of people want to pay a bill. Emotions set in to some degree, but only to the point if they can afford to do something, they want to do something that they feel they're doing for their loved one. That's a common thing. I did it for my Uncle Freddie. Didn't do anything for Uncle Freddie. He did it for you. That's all. You can sympathize only to the extent of saying it's unfortunate that the person died so young. But let's face it, we're in the business of waiting for people to die. This is the business we're in. It has to be business because people come to you to handle a very insensitive situation. I mean, when you go to the dentist's office, isn't he glad? In his case, he's glad you have a toothache. He's glad you need a plate. He's glad you need a bridge. He's glad you have to have a tooth pulled. And anybody else that's in that business. Are we glad from a personal point of view that the individual has died? No. Are we glad from the point of view that it's business for us? Yes. We don't wish anybody to die, but when they do, we want them to come here. It's the truth. And nothing beats that. You might disagree with it, but nothing. Truth's always a winner. Always has been.